Fuck you, Ezekiel! Fuck you!
Had to switch up on the flow, gotta keep them on their toes. I move quick, I make the most, why they copy what I wrote. Follow everything I post, never trip about a clone, cause they know what's a sheep to a goat. Yeah. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise they ain't make it then. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes-Benz. Whoa, hey, please don't take offense. It isn't you, I'm just not interested in making friends. My biggest fear is finding out that this came and went. So go ahead, but I'm staying in.
I've been waiting for this. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this. What's up?
Motherfucker, I hate this motherfucker.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita!
No, I'm in mid. Hold on. Let me finish my point, you jerk.
You don't call your dad a jerk.
Well, you're being a jerk.
The laws of physics do not exist on my charcoal grill.
But what's the weirdest thing you've ever killed and ate?
Siamese twins.
Siamese. What did you say? Siamese twins.
But my agent said I may need to get a lawyer after that comment.
Oh God, I just got what you were saying. That's not what I meant. Oh man, that is just off the wall bad. We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right. I have a feel we're about to be joined by Sir George. He normally comes out of the black hole. Oh, there he is. Sir George. He is back.
Play football. What's up?
Well, I just want to say, are...
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I just sold Jerry joke. Hey, Jerry. You said, well, this ain't your number one. You're number one, Jerry. Number one.
Oh, my God. We're moving on. We've killed the Cowboys. Matter of fact, get out. I'm tired of talking to you. Give me freaking JJ. Bring JJ on the show. Holy crap. Let's hear his opinion about this damn trade and why they made this decision. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not admit you were wrong.
In the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now. And don't.
You know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. A lot of cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go?
Hey, you're getting too deep into this. Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird. If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE All-Star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. All you haters, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. Whoa. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ass. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7. And it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
And they're playing with sticks. And they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks. Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts. You're almost going to laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh, man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
All right, folks, welcome in. Yes, the best in the game is back tonight. Yours truly, Casey the Remix Schedule. That is self-proclaimed best in the podcast game. The old man is banding his fatherly duties, and actually he's out making money. He's on his way back into town, so safe travels, Pops. Hope you're doing all right. Hope the drive hasn't been too bad for you. But so big show tonight, and we talked a little while ago. I talked to him on the phone. I got his picks for this week. I'm gonna do picks without Pops because Pops ain't here, but we're gonna get his picks in there. But he was like, "Man, there's so much to talk about. I really wish I was there tonight," and he just couldn't leave early enough from where he was coming from to get home in time to hop on the show. So we got a ton to get into. Everyone in the sports world that follows the NFL knows the NFL trade deadline. You know I'm gonna hit that. We got the Cowboys laying an egg last week and what they did at the deadline and what it says for their future. What happened to the Texans on Sunday, and is the Texans season lost? Then we got our NFL roundabout. Let's go on, try to figure out what's going on. We always get lost in that. Then we got picks without Pops. And then I'm going to do something a little, I'm by myself. So I'm hoping some folks throw some comments on there and we can engage a little bit. But I'm going to do my top 5 movies of all time. Do a little entertainment segment right here. Let y'all get a little insight to the genres that I like. And then we got the first official college football playoff rankings. Did they get it right? There's one team that I was happy to see not ranked very high. And I want y'all to stay around for that team. Then we're going to get an update on what are the Stars doing? What are the triangle of Texas basketball doing, and the Mavs, San Antonio, and the Rockets. Then we'll wrap it up, tidbits, randoms. And then we got this week's Whiskey of the Week. If you guess what's in this week's canter, I will personally buy you a bottle of whiskey / bourbon of what's in this canter. First person to guess it, I will send it to you. All you got to do is kind of just DM me wherever you're finding this and seeing this stream. And if you guess the type of whiskey, if you're here at the end of the show, I will send you a bottle of it personally. Not going to say it's the greatest stuff. It's not the worst stuff. But have a little fun with that, y'all. So, matter of fact, just so I can keep track, if anyone's guessing, I'll throw the comments little box up here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we do start the show with a joke. The old man normally starts with the joke. He does a terrible job. And so it's on me. This one, I don't know if this is a joke, but it's more of a funny situation. I got carded at the liquor store the other day. Matter of fact, buying the whiskey for this canter this evening. I got carded at the liquor store, and my Blockbuster card fell out of my wallet. Yeah, I'm holding it on for nostalgia reasons. And the cashier's like, never mind. I don't need your license anymore. The fact that you got a Blockbuster card, you old enough. You can buy any liquor in here you want. You holding on to that nostalgia. So a little funny situation there. But if you want a classic dad joke, how do you get a squirrel to act like you? Act like a nut. There you go. Bam. Doo-doo. Need some sound effects on this thing. All right. Well, we're moving. We're shaking. NFL trade deadline. Most active deadline since, I believe, 93. So I was a whopping, around 7-8 years old the last time this trade deadline was this active. A lot of teams moving and shaking. Obviously, the Jets wholesale. All right, the Jets turned into Costco all of a sudden, saying, "What you want? What you want a quarterback, or you want a cornerback? You want a defensive lineman? What else do you want? We'll throw it all out there. We'll trade it all to you." And So I wish I kept things like my old black or blockbuster card. Blah blah. If I could talk, I am not a hoarder, ma'am. That is very rude of you to say. I'm not a hoarder. I just like to keep sentimental things from time to time. Anyways, that's my dear wife, by the way, commenting. Uh, but so the New York Jets, they send Sauce Gardner to the Colts. Obviously, the Colts get one of the top corners in the league. Now he's had a down couple of years, but man, getting 2 first-round picks back for him, damn right, I'd do that deal if I'm the Jets, especially if I'm in just blow it up mode. And the Jets are just cleaning house with picks. Then they send Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. I mean, we thought we solved that defensive tackle thing with Kenny Clark and Ozigi Dua, but Quinnen Williams on a different level. He's under contract for the next 2 years after this. He's much cheaper than what a Micah Parsons would have cost you in the long term or even in the short term. But after that contract's up, I'm interested to see what the price tag will be for a 30-year-old defensive tackle. And so you give up one of those picks, or you give up your pick in next year's draft, or whichever one not next year, 2 years from now, I think, the 2027 draft. And then you gave up a second-round pick as well. So, and Mozzie is gone. Thank God. Mozzie Smith is off the Dallas Cowboys. I couldn't be happier to see that guy go. What a utter disappointment he was as a Dallas Cowboys, a first-round pick. I don't know who's worse, Mozzie or Taco Charlton. Y'all let me know. Who was worse, Mozzie Smith or Taco Charlton? That could be a segment in itself right there. Both Michigan defensive linemen, both picked by the Cowboys, both bust. Two of the worst draft picks of the Cowboys, but overall the Cowboys have done pretty well in the draft. So, but the deadline, Jacoby Myers gets traded from the Jaguars to the Raiders. How about that? You wanted out? Well, you got out. And or did he go from the? I think he went the other way. I don't know. I'm brain farting. Tonight. So many trades. I really do like what the Colts did with Sauce and what the Cowboys did with Quinnen. Obviously, the Cowboys also traded for Logan Wilson. Logan Wilson has lost a step, but I think he's better than what we have in that linebacker room. I think he reads things really well. I think he has a little bit of experience. And the old man tuning in from the road. Appreciate it, Pops. I don't know. I think Taco had a little better run than Mozzie, but we can talk about that next week when you're back. But yeah, I just lost my train of thought. I'm losing my mind all by myself. See, this is where you have a co-host that come in, they pick it up. But no, I do like what the Colts did in picking up Sauce Gardner. I think they're making a run. Giving up their 2 first-round picks, the biggest thing they're telling you is, hey, Daniel Jones is our guy. And I didn't know they were going to go all that. I thought Daniel Jones was going to have a great year. I've said that many times on the show. But I didn't know they were going to jump head first, all in on Daniel Jones. So, but yeah, Jacoby Myers, I'll find it here in a minute. I'm losing. There we go. Yes. Jacoby Myers, Raiders to Jacksonville. That's what it is. So, yeah, going to Jacksonville, which Travis Hunter, that should help Jacksonville out pretty well. Jacksonville, Travis Hunter going on the IR. That's a subject we may have to get into a little later. Can he continue to play both ways? Speaking of, and we'll get into other IR, people placed on IR a little later in the NFL roundabout and kind of what that says. But Jacoby Myers wanted a new home. The Raiders' passing game was awful. Question is, when is Brock Bowers going to say, I want out of here? The Raiders are terrible right now. Absolutely garbage. I do like what Philadelphia did, getting Jalen Phillips from the Miami Dolphins, as well as Jari Alexander from the Ravens, a former Packer. I think the Eagles actually play the Packers this week. Yes, they do. Eagles at Lambeau, so kind of a revenge game for Jari Alexander. Eagles not staying pat. That should scare the rest of the league. I still think they're the class of the NFC. Pains me to say that because I am a Cowboys fan. And I'm not too hot on saying positive things about Philly, but ultimately, they're not. You got to say Howie Roseman is the best GM in the NFL right now. I mean, with the Saquon deal and moves he's made, guys they've drafted, it's like every time they draft someone, I'm sitting there watching the draft like, son of a bitch. They got that guy. It was like when they took Nolan Smith. And, we took I forgot who was in that draft. I think that was the Mozzie draft, wasn't it? We took Schoonmaker in the second round, and they take Nolan Smith or whatnot. So yeah. So what does the Quinnen Williams trade mean for the Cowboys and the Logan Wilson trade this season? I think this season with that loss against Arizona is like many other people have said. I think it's this season making the playoffs is not attainable. This was a move for the future, especially the Quinnen Williams trade. You have a hell of a defensive tackle room now with Kenny Clark, who's been good. Oziggy Dua, who I really like. He's a little undersized. And now you have Quinnen Williams, who 2 years ago was, being compared to Aaron Donald and being the best defensive tackle in the league. And he was an all-pro. So he's 27 years old, a year older than Micah. And so ultimately, you have a foundation piece to start rebuilding your defense. I saw the Cowboys had an offer in. It obviously wasn't good enough. Maybe they'll revisit in the offseason. I really wanted the Cowboys to get a safety in Mika Fitzpatrick. I thought that would have been a big-time move for this defense and help rebuilding it. So you would have added one piece per level of your defense, your defensive line, your linebacker room, and your secondary room. So they're going to have to really address that in free agency as well as the draft next year, because this year, done. It doesn't help them. Me and the old man were talking earlier. He's agreeing with that assessment. We were kind of on the same page with that. So Dallas is, I'm not going to say tank. Like, I don't want you to tank, but we also want to get the best pick possible, because you don't want to sit here and tune in every Sunday and just know they're not going to do shit. You want to see them, play well, of course. But man, that performance against Arizona was terrible. The offense didn't hold up their end and take care of their business. So at the end of the day, I like what the Cowboys did. And I like where they're moving for their defense, but the draft capital that is left, as well as you have the most money in free agency to spend, or their top three, I think, somewhere around there, you need to go take care of that. You have to go ultimately not just try to draft and develop. You need to be active in free agency for that defense to make some moves there. And I'm sure when the year starts winding down, we'll start looking at potential free agents and people that go after and who we think they should go after. So, yeah. So last week, last week, the Houston we'll switch little gears here. Houston Texans, they played Denver Broncos. I thought that was going to be a somewhat comfortable win for Denver. Denver did win the game on a last-second field goal. C.J. Stroud gets knocked out of the game with a concussion. He's out again this week. Ultimately, the Texans lose 18-15. That should tell you two things. Both those defenses are legit. The Houston's defense is a high-level defense. If you're not watching them, you probably wouldn't know that. But if you follow the Houston Texans, you will know that they are a high-level defense, 100%. And now your leader on offense, C.J. Stroud, is going to be out this upcoming week. And you ultimately got the Jaguars coming to town. You got a divisional game Davis Mills is going to step in there. Got a somewhat full complement of weapons for the offense. But the problem is the offensive line right now. The offensive line, the Houston Texans did nothing at the trade deadline to address the offensive line. There probably wasn't a ton out there. I think the Chargers got a right tackle, Penny. I think went out to San Diego, which was a good move by them. And so I really, really do wonder where Houston is going to go from here. And they got to – that's something that they'll need to address in their offseason is that offensive line. Because that defense is kind of the opposite of what the Cowboys are dealing with right now, right? Cowboys are wasting a prolific offense with how bad their defense is. The Texans are wasting their defense and how non-prolific their offense is. So it was a good fight ultimately by the Houston Texans. I really liked the grit and determination they had in that game, but ultimately they just didn't have the firepower. The running game never got going. Davis Mills, I think, was below 50% completion percentage or pretty close to it. And it just didn't work out when C.J. Stroud went out. Now, the hit on C.J. Stroud, I know there's some controversy on that, as well as, should this guy be suspended? Should they not? I mean, the dude hit him in his chest. C.J. Stroud slid late. You can make the argument. I really don't have a problem either way, the way you view it. If they wouldn't have flagged him, I would have been fine. If they would have flagged it, I would have been fine. It is a quarterback. You did slide, but hey, ultimately, I didn't really have a big issue with that play. So Davis Mills is going to have to step it up this coming week, and the defense is going to have to carry the torch, as it always does, for the Houston Texans against the Jaguars. And Jaguars are schizophrenic, right? They have some really good games. They had the crazy ending against the Chiefs and beat the Chiefs, and then they lay eggs the next couple weeks, and they're just up and down, and you just can't figure them out. So Davis Mills may come out and lead the Texans to a 24-21 victory or something of that nature, and we don't see it coming. I have the Jags. I'm giving away one of my picks right here, but I have the Jags winning this game ultimately, and so does the old man. So, but Houston, it's kind of a lost season for them as well. A lot of high hopes going into the season, and not surviving there. So, all right. Well, performances around the league last week. Let's surprises. The Giants did put up a pretty good fight against San Francisco. Ultimately came up short, 34-24. Chargers only beat the Titans by 7. That was surprising me. Maybe the Titans are starting to figure some things out with their young team and coach. One of the biggest surprises to me was the Vikings going into Detroit and beating the Lions. J.J. McCarthy is back at quarterback, and they're excited. It's kind of given that spark, that Jackson Dart, effect a little bit back in the Minnesota locker room. And Minnesota going to Detroit. Total surprise to me. Patriots barely squeak out one above the Falcons. And the other surprise was Pittsburgh beating the Colts. I've been riding with the Colts since the beginning of the year. Huge fan of what they're doing. I think Jonathan Taylor should still be in the MVP conversation. Obviously, adding Sauce Gardner, they're making a run. Now, their owner, who's always on the sideline taking notes, Miss Irsay, she said, "Damn those future picks to get Sauce Gardner." I do think 2 firsts was a little high for that, but they gives them flexibility to go man zone. I still think he's a top level talent in this league. I think probably being on a better team, he'll shine a little more rather than being on a terrible team. So, but the Colts losing to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, came out, took care of their business. Daniel Jones had some turnovers, and Pittsburgh took advantage. So I think last week the old man mentioned he thinks the Tomlin era is done, or Mike Tomlin, they're going to move on after the season. I don't know. I think they're going to win the division. And if you win the division, go to the playoffs, that's generally not a fireable year. So I think the Ravens will finish off the year somewhat strong, but I don't think they're going to catch the Steelers. I think that was pretty telling. So, Joe Flacco going out there. Was Joe hurt? The Bengals scored 42 points, but gave up 47 to the Bears. So that one was a fun one to watch or take a peek at. And then the Panthers. We have to finally start admitting. We have to admit this. The Carolina Panthers are not as bad as we thought they were. They're just not. So that loss by Dallas to Carolina, even though it looked really bad because Rico Dowdle ran across, from New York to L.A. On our defense, it's not that bad a loss. The Panthers are a better team this year, surprised us all, and good for them. So, but they upset the Packers. Now the Packers, Jordan Love's an inconsistent quarterback. I think that's what holds them back, his inconsistent play in Green Bay. Sometimes he looks like all-pro, best quarterback in the league. Sometimes he looks sus. So ultimately, I think, you got to kind of, pick your poison with the pack. And, other than that, I didn't see too many other upsets. I did pick the Chiefs to finally go into Buffalo and win one. That didn't work out. I hope you follow the show you're watching. Ultimately, man, people know I'm a Josh Allen fan. I had him picked for MVP at the beginning of the year last year, and I was correct on that. The old man thinks I'm in love with Josh Allen or something of that nature. I just love the way he plays the game, and he's just hard-nosed, gets it done quarterback, unless he's playing the Chiefs in the playoffs. Should have taken that into consideration. The Chiefs don't beat the Bills and Josh Allen in the regular season. I think they're like 1-5, 1-6 against them or something of that nature, but they're 4-0 in the playoffs. So hopefully that rematch will come up again in the playoffs, and we'll see it. And that was a really good game. And listen, my love for Josh Allen is equal to your love of Zeke, old man. All right. You were in a love fest with Zeke Elliott, thinking he was going to have a resurgent year last year. And you're probably going to comment and say, no, I wasn't, or whatever. Y'all just go watch the shows, go watch the clips. He was talking up Zeke like he was going to be, the next Emmitt Smith for a year. Anyways, so the Chiefs losing to Buffalo, that was a fun game to watch as well. And the rest of them obviously we talked about the Cardinals, Cowboys. I thought the Cardinals, that's obviously was a surprise in this up in this room because we both had the Cardinals. So, all right. Well, let's get to this. Let's go ahead and knock out. We're on the NFL. Let's go ahead and knock out picks with pops, or really picks without pops today. Last week, he whooped my ass. I ain't gonna lie. He went 6-1. I went 3-4. So he has taken the overall lead by 2 over me. And so if you're wondering why the number of games is different, it's because he mistakenly picked 8 games one week, and I'm giving him credit, whether it was a win or a loss for that. So last week, you can see that we both took the Cowboys. We both took the Seahawks. Both took the Broncos. Both took the 49ers, and that's where all my wins pretty much stopped. He took San Diego. I took the Chiefs. He took the Colts, or I took the Colts and the Lions. He took the Jags over the Raiders and the Patriots over the Falcons. So good job, old man, on that one. So let's go ahead, and I will go ahead and give you our picks for this week. Giants at the Bears. I have, and the old man have the Bears beating the Giants. The fun, the aura, after Scatterboo got hurt, it's just gone from New York. So we both have the Bears. We both have the Jags going into Houston and winning. Obviously, backup quarterback offense has still not found his footing on an overall scale. You know, I just don't see Houston beating the Jags. We both have the Lions going into Washington, D.C. Jaden Daniels still out. I think it's Mariota starting. Even if he's back, he's not going to be 100%. So the Lions are pissed off after last week. 100% they're pissed off. There ain't no way they're not. And then we're split on this one. Eagles going to the Packers. I got the Eagles. Adding Alexander, adding Jalen Phillips. I think Saquon had his best game of the year last year. He might be starting to come alive, maybe a little post-Super Bowl fatigue after running for 2,000-plus yards last year. The old man's got the Packers after that abysmal performance last week against the Panthers. So he's got faith they're going to bounce back. And I got to be honest, since I lost ground, I tried to go with some gimmies. I ain't going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Bills at Dolphins. I got the Bills. Saints at Panthers. I'm taking the Panthers. The Saints are a mess. Falcons at Indianapolis. I'm taking Indianapolis. And the old man's 3 wild card games. He's got the Bucks over the Pats, the Chargers over Pittsburgh, and the Ravens over the Vikings. I probably would have taken the Vikings if I would have picked that game. I'm going to be honest. I like what is brewing there in Minnesota. That was the old man's team last year with Sam Darnold. That's where I wanted. All right, so that's picks without pops. And the old man has all the commercials. So we are commercial free tonight. So no commercial breaks. So I'm just sitting here huffing and puffing. I'm getting a little parched. Let me get a little bit of what's in it. No one's tried to guess what's in the canter yet. All right. I told you, if you guess what's in the canter, I will buy you a bottle of what's in the canter. And I promise you it's not $5 whiskey. All right. I'm just being honest. All right. So I will reveal what's in the canter before the end of the evening. All right. Let's keep it moving. And ladies and gentlemen, we probably ain't making it an hour and a half tonight. Probably an hour, maybe 45 minutes, somewhere around there. You realize how much your co-host talks when you're not with your co-host. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of hilarious. This is why I don't try to do this by myself as a single show, or even try to get a radio job as a single host, because it's not easy. All right. So we're going to switch gears here. I teased it. Well, the videos are, it's too late. It's too late for me to go find those. And I already said we don't. It's okay. We'll run your easyleadership.com next week. So, all right. So a little entertainment segment here, and be interested to get your opinions on these. So my top 5 movies of all time. There's not a particular genre. You could break it down by genre. Like I said, I don't know, but these are just my personal. The number one, this has to do with my being a kid, growing up in the 90s. When this movie came out, it just hit a chord with America. Just Americana. The cinematography during the July 4th scene is just what we're about. And there's so many good one-liners from this movie. You're killing me, Smalls. Tell me already. That's it. It's The Sandlot. The Sandlot is in my top 5. I love The Sandlot. The history of baseball is thrown in there. It speaks to every kid who grew up playing outside, especially during that time period. Up until here recently, and everything is a travel ball, and no one goes outside, no one goes to the park. Or when's the last time a kid went outside in their driveway with 2 or 3 friends and played wiffle ball with ghost runners? Anyone remember ghost runners? Good times in the neighborhood. But The Sandlot, first on my, it's not number 1. these aren't in any particular order, but I'm going Sandlot. So, the second one, my first movie I ever saw on this planet, I was 6 months old, and I think it set me on a path to join the, other than my father being in the United States Navy, this definitely helped send me on that path. It's Top Gun, the original Top Gun. I mean, it's a classic. It is just a fun movie to watch. Maverick, do some of that pilot shit, is one of my favorite quotes. It's just, great balls of fire, man. All right. She's lost that love and feeling. I hate it when she does it. Top Gun on my top 5 list. 100%. By the way, if you're watching, comment with, some of your favorite movies. Maybe there's some I didn't think of. I'll tell you an honorable mention on my top 5. It's probably 6 is The Shawshank Redemption. Not in my top 5, but it's up there. I love The Shawshank Redemption. All right, number 3. This is one of the 2 movies I've ever cried at. I've only cried at 2 movies in my life. This is one of them. You'll kind of see the Navy connection. Here's Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr., Robert De Niro, the story of Carl Bashir and his struggle to be the first black diver in the United States Navy. And yes, my old man technically was in Top Gun, by the way. He was on the carrier that they're filming Top Gun on the USS Abraham Lincoln. So the back of his head is the Top Gun. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. So Men of Honor is an emotional, such a great story. And what Carl Bashir came over, it's just a great movie. All right. Come on, Cookie. I want my 12 steps. So many good lines and what Carl Bashir, and he's a naval hero. He's one of the dudes who did it right. And when he says, I wouldn't be here with our greatest tradition of all, and that's honor. And man, as a former sailor, that shit speaks to me. And it's one of my favorite scenes, one of my favorite lines. So we got The Sandlot, Top Gun, Men of Honor. The next one is probably, I got to be honest, probably my favorite comedy of all time. It's The Hangover. I love The Hangover. That shit, it's still hilarious to this day. So obviously, so many one-liners and moments in that from the Mike Tyson scene to Chinese guy jumping out butt naked, which was a surprise to them. They actually didn't know he was going to do that. The old man's favorite movie of all time, I knew that was Tombstone. That's a good one. I'll be your Huckleberry or Huckberry or, all that stuff. I can't beat them, can I? But yeah, The Hangover, man, it just came out. I was obviously in my early 20s. That kind of humor really stuck with me. But man, if you don't like The Hangover, you just don't like comedy. You don't like, you just don't like laughing. I mean, it's like you listen to the old man's dad jokes all the time, and you just are dead on comedy. That's if you don't like The Hangover. Crimson Tide, good one too, Pops. So, are you driving safely, commenting while you're driving? I hope you're not swerving in and out of lanes right now, trying to type these comments. And the fifth one, it took me a minute to find this one. I actually went to my DVD collection. Yes, I still have a DVD collection. If I still got a Blockbuster card, but it's The Dark Knight, the second in the series. I just thought that movie, with the realism of the Batman and on how Heath Ledger played the Joker, was masterful. And that is my favorite superhero movie, hands down. And yeah, I was Batman a few times for Halloween when I was growing up, which I was talking to my mom the other day. Sidebar on this. Halloween just happened. Everyone had a good Halloween. All the dentists are thinking you're here pretty soon. And so I was like, what costumes did I wear growing up? Like my memory on it was blank. I remember like Donatello and some others. I was Batman a few times. So I was a Batman kid versus Superman. So The Dark Knight, I think, is the best Batman movie of all time. And the way Heath Ledger played Joker, he played that to a T and was absolutely worthy of the Oscar he won, whether he died or not. Rest in peace, Heath. All right. So those are my top 5 movies of all time, just for me. The Sandlot, Top Gun, Men of Honor, The Hangover, and The Dark Knight. So little entertainment segment there. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Might be something we might incorporate here moving forward. Maybe the old man, he gave a couple of his favorite movies there in the comments. Maybe he rounds those 5 out next week, or I was actually thinking about doing this segment called my favorite top worst movies of all time, like movies that are bad, but for some reason we like them. They don't get good reviews by Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, but we just like them. And I don't know, just a little thought there. All right, well, let's get off the entertainment segment. Let's get into the college football rankings. First official college football rankings, and the top of it matches the AP, right? You got Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2, and I would say I can make an argument for A&M to be 2. All right, that would be a little bit of a homer pick, but obviously A&M. All right, hold on. All right, pause. The old man just finishing out Raising Arizona comedy classic. It's got to be your niche though. Braveheart. All right, I love Braveheart. I got to be honest, we watched that so many times on road trips. But being a history major that I am, that's what my undergrad is in. The historical inaccuracies is really hard for me to get past in that movie now. Just like when we watch Navy movies and we're like, that's bullshit. That would never happen. Just like I remember the old man in the scene of Top Gun was like, hey, they wouldn't be cheering on the flight deck because no one would know what actually happened. So just a little scene in Top Gun there that's inaccurate right there. But Braveheart, the storylines and the actually who was Braveheart was actually Robert the Bruce, not William Wallace. So yeah, but it's a good movie. Great storytelling by Mel Gibson in that one, but not in my top 5 I just can't look past the historical inaccuracies. All right, come back to the college football rankings. Like I was saying, yeah, I can make a case for A&M to be 2 in those rankings, but Indiana, they are rolling people. So they don't have the quality wins necessarily that A&M has. A&M has what is considered the number 1 strength of schedule this year throughout the year. And if they get past Mizzou this weekend, which I expect them to do, I think the Aggies will end up running the table. Aggies were on a bye last week, so no game to talk about. But and so a lot of people were talking about putting Alabama ahead of A&M. No, just stop it. Stop that. I would imagine you probably see those 2 in the SEC championship game. That'll get settled. But then you got Georgia followed by Alabama, and then Ole Miss at 8-1, BYU and Texas Tech, the 2 Big 12 teams. Here's my issue, and this is a different subject for a different day, but I always thought Oklahoma and Texas ultimately leaving the Big 12 was a mistake. Because if you can run that conference and you can pretty much guarantee yourselves spots in the college football playoff, especially when you knew it was going to expand to 12 teams. Well, you got BYU and Texas Tech sitting 7-8 right now, 8-0 and 8-1. Now they're going to end up playing each other in the Big 12 championship. They're going to either, if BYU wins that game, Texas Tech will drop out of the college football playoff. It would be really interesting if Texas Tech beats BYU and they both have 1 loss and they both, see if they would both be in the top 12. Notre Dame at 6-2 at 10. They're the first ones with 2 losses. Texas at 7-2, sitting at 11, and Oklahoma at 7-2. And you got Utah at 7-2, Virginia at 8-1. But I mentioned at the beginning of the show, there was one team I was glad that was ranked lower, and they're sitting 17, and it's Georgia Tech. Okay, Georgia Tech hadn't beat anybody. They're 8-1, and they haven't beat a quality opponent to this point. So I'm happy that the ranking committee, whoever these people actually are, have taken that into consideration, because they made some changes this year to the college football rankings, right? They ultimately it's not the conference winners that guarantee to buy. It's the top 4 in the rankings. And then also they were taking strength of schedule into consideration. And I think that's massively important. You know, ultimately, if you do that, you know, I think it speaks more to getting the best teams in the college football playoff. And I really like the number 12. I hope they don't expand to 16. Of course, if they did, off of these first rankings, you would have Utah, Virginia, Louisville, and Vanderbilt. I do think it'd be interesting to see a Vanderbilt in the college football playoff, but you know, they got their second loss this past weekend. So I think generally it's pretty much what we expected. There were a couple outliers I think we wanted to see happen, and with like that Georgia Tech example, you did see them. So I don't have a lot of issue with the college football rankings this particular first round. I will say there's still some people discounting A&M, and this is a homer call, and I get it. I know there's a few people on Twitter I follow. They'll do like their personal rankings, and A&M is always, you know, behind Alabama, and you know, always got them 4th or 5th. And I'm like, come on, y'all ain't even watching these games. You ain't even paying attention. So it gets a little frustrating. So I'm happy that A&M is rolling and taking care of their business. So, if they take care of Mizzou, and then I think they got a gimme at Stanford or something like that, and then it's at Texas. So, and I fully expect them to go into Texas and take care of that. So, so that's the college football rankings. You know, just to recap: Ohio State at 1, Indiana 2. A&M at 3, Alabama 4, Georgia at 5, Ole Miss 6, BYU, Tech, Oregon, and Notre Dame round out your top 10. So I guess I should, you know, in your next 2, Texas and Oklahoma, finish that part out. So I think they got it right. I do think Texas is probably ranked a little high in that, but is what it is, right? So. All right. Well, this is normally where we would take a break, but we're not going to. We're going to keep rolling. All right. Next segment. There's one hockey team in the state of Texas. We got to talk about Dallas Stars. 7-3-3, have sitting at 17 points. So they're taking care of their business, having a good start to the season. Really like what they're doing on their power play. I think they're top 5 in the league in power play goals scored. And I know a lot of people, hockey isn't your thing, and you might want to tune off the channel. Just bear with me. It's not going to last very long. But if you don't like hockey, tune in and watch it once in a while if you really haven't, or go to a game. Hockey in person is amazing, especially minor league. Fights all over the place. I kind of found my love of hockey going to the Corpus Christi Ice Rays and down there in South Texas. Small, intimate, a lot of fun. You know, it was a blast. It was one of those things me and my dad and little brother did all together. So a lot of fun going to the Corpus Christi Ice Rays. And my little brother ended up loving hockey so much he played hockey through high school. So, which is not an easy thing to do here in the state of Texas. But Stars taking care of their business early, sitting at 4th in the Western Conference behind the Avalanche, who are 8-1. Avalanche are 8-1-5. They have 21 points, so they have 5 overtime losses. And then you got the Jets at 9-4, Mammoth at 9-4. And by the way, we never found out the plural for Mammoth. Is it Mammoths, Mammi? Someone help us out there. We talked about that. But after you get after the Stars 7-3, you start getting teams under 500. So I think you're starting to see the cream of the crop of the Western Conference with those 4 teams: Avalanche, Jets, Mammoth, Stars, Predators. I know it's early. Actually, I'm lying. That is the Central Division. It did not. Gave me the Central Division. I'm losing. Stupid. All right. Anyways, the top team in the Pacific Division has 17 points, and that's the Ducks and Golden Knights. So, yeah. So everyone else in the Central Division is higher than that. So, all right, you got it. We're moving on. Told you we're going to last that long. All right, the triangle of good old Texas basketball in the NBA. We also got college basketball starting. We got high school basketball starting next week on Friday, November 14th, I believe. So shout out to all my former high school, my former colleagues, high school coaches gearing up, going to try to make it out to some games, especially with former players still playing, and support the high school athletics going out there. So, well, your Spurs, let's go to the NBA. Your Spurs are 5-1. Last time we checked in, I think they were 4-0. So they've only played 2 games since last Wednesday. But so they're 5-1, 3-0 at home, 2-1 on the road. They're looking good. The Spurs, I like what they're building down there. As a Mavericks fan, I don't like seeing it, but they're doing it the right way. Rockets 4-2. Started off pretty sluggish. Looks like they're starting to turn it around. They're still developing chemistry, trying to figure it out with KD, Kevin Durant, and my Mavs 2-5. Not looking good right now. I do like what Kevin Durant said. Rockets beat the Mavericks last night. So KD was like, Cooper Flag is going to be a problem as he develops. That's high praise from Kevin Durant. I'm not a huge fan of Kevin Durant as far as a franchise guy, but hey, he is a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best scorers of all time. He knows ball. He's just not an alpha dude who saves franchises like the Rockets thought think he's going to do. Didn't happen for the Suns, didn't happen for Brooklyn, and couldn't get the Thunder over the hump. Matter of fact, he couldn't get them over the hump so bad, he left and joined the All-Star team of the Golden State Warriors. So with the Mavs struggling to figure it out, why are the AAC still kicking fans out for yelling fire Nico? Let the fans get that out of their system. Just let them get it out of their system. It was stupid last year. It's even stupider this year. It's not the whole crowd anymore. It's only onesies and twosies. Deal with it, man. Grow up. Grow a nutsack, Nico, and be like, hey, let them do what they're going to do. But by the way, you made this trade because defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. Well, you're struggling to score right now. They are last in the league in scoring, the Dallas Mavericks are. So, struggle there. I wonder where you could have got some offense and a lot of open shots. Of course, you probably wouldn't got the number 1 pick. And I think that was a deal that you made with the commissioner. I'm going conspiracy theory on this. It just looks too fucking shady. Yes, trade Luka to Los Angeles and we'll reward you with the number 1 pick. You'll get Cooper Flag. I mean, I don't know. It makes sense, right? As a conspiracy theory. So very early in the season, obviously, not diving deep in the NBA right now. The season really doesn't start till Christmas time and, when we start paying attention. So we just like to check in a little bit. Same thing with hockey. To me, I really start paying attention to a lot of hockey after the new year, especially when football is over and college football is over and now you got a little more time to hop in there and things of that nature. So, all right. Tidbits, randoms, and whiskey of the week. All right. I don't know if I have much this week in tidbits, randoms, and things of that nature. I get to play with an air cannon that shoots golf balls tomorrow. That's pretty sweet, and get paid for it. Not a lot going on. So, but as always, yeah. Well, no one tried to guess what's in the canter, so saves me money. But I will tell you the whiskey of the week is Texas Ranger. All right. Blended whiskey here, 40% alcohol, 80 proof. That is the whiskey that's in the canter. Could have had a free bottle of that being sent to you, but it's all good. Cheers. I realize I drink a lot less of this when my dad's not on the show. Coincidence or not? Who knows? All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I do want to talk about my shirt. So Miles number 24. I will say this. So I mentioned I was a high school basketball coach. At Leander High School, I was coaching the freshman B team for a couple years, and this kid comes up to me before the game and comes and shakes my hand, like real authoritative. He's all like, "Nice to meet you, coach. I hope y'all have a great game." And he's on the other team, and so I was just like, "Oh wow, kind of crazy." And the kid's name was Miles, and he went to Vista Ridge High School. The next year, he ended up making the JV, and ended up dying in a car accident. And this kid was just the nicest kid you could ever meet. Did life right, and it was just unfortunate. So a lot of us from Leander, we all got shirts made, and we went over and supported Vista Ridge, and so it was a really touching moment. I actually had one of my former students text me or tell me years later that seeing me at that game, supporting it, like really, they really respected me, and all the staff and all the people who came over to support Miles in the Vista Ridge community. So, a lot of crazy things happened at Vista Ridge while I was at Leander, but one of them I don't want to talk about, but don't want to put business out there. So, but yeah, Miles, man, hope you're doing well in heaven. I know you were a believer, so looking down on us, and hopefully we can be an example like you were. And so love you, Miles, and appreciate that. On a different note, apparently my dad is saying Draymond Green called Dak a bum, and he is a punk. So are you saying Draymond Green's a punk? I mean, we all know that. Draymond is a little out there. And Dak is obviously not a bum. He's, if it wasn't for the defense, he'd probably be the MVP. So, yeah, if you enjoyed watching, man, number one, I appreciate it. The old man will be back next week, hopefully. And follow us on follow me on TikTok at Coach Schedule. Follow us on YouTube at On Time Sports Talk, and as well as on Facebook and X. I'm at Coach Schedule, and the old man's at Easy Eddie. We're brought to you by Tire Sports Network, which some recent changes are might start seeing some future changes in the network, and hopefully to grow and keep bringing y'all great content from our shows. So I can't thank y'all enough for supporting us and watching, and and if you missed us, stream it. Just when you leave the house, put on YouTube on your TV, play it, let it go. Let us get the hours. Why not? But anyways. All right. Well, that's going to close it up, man. I appreciate it. Sticking it out with me. I know it's a lot to hear my voice for an hour straight with no breaks. But yeah, that's all I got. I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. Peace. I'm out of here.